"Stop crying, you useless girl. Your father doesn't need a dead weight like you." The sharp voice echoed through the halls of the mansion in Beverly Hills. Isabella, leaning on her crutches, trembled in the corner of the room as Patricia, the millionaire Robert's girlfriend, advanced furiously. It was in that instant that Valentina, the new housekeeper, witnessed the scene that would change her life forever. "You will not lay another finger on this child. As long as I am here, she will never be mistreated again." The maid's firm voice echoed through the luxurious hall, her hand stopping the furious woman's approach. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and write in the comments which city you're watching from. The Beverly Hills mansion stood imposing against the blue sky of that March morning. With its 3 stories, impeccable gardens, and an architecture that blended modernity with classic elegance, the Montgomery family residence was a symbol of power and wealth. Valentina Smith, 28, stood before the electronic gate, nervously clutching a folder with her documents. Her brown hair was tied back in a simple ponytail, and she wore a discreet outfit, black pants and a white blouse she had bought especially for the interview. "You can do this, Val," she murmured to herself, taking a deep breath. "You need this job." The need was real and urgent. After losing her previous job when the family moved abroad, Valentina had spent 2 months looking for work. The bills were piling up. The rent on her small apartment in the Bronx was overdue, and she needed to send money to her mother upstate. She rang the bell and waited. A cold, female voice answered through the intercom. "Yes, I'm Valentina Smith. I'm here for the job interview." "Come in, first door on the right." The gate opened automatically, and Valentina walked up the cobblestone driveway that led to the main entrance. Everything there exuded luxury and refinement, from the perfectly manicured ornamental plants to the marble fountain in the center of the courtyard. The door was opened by a tall, elegant woman of about 35. Blonde, with perfectly styled hair, she wore a designer outfit that cost more than Valentina's monthly salary. Her blue eyes were as cold as ice. "You must be the candidate," she said, scanning Valentina from head to toe with an evaluative and clearly disapproving gaze. "I'm Patricia Anderson, Mr. Robert's fiancée." "A pleasure, Mrs. Patricia. I'm Valentina. Come in, let's talk." Patricia led her to a luxurious room, decorated with imported furniture and works of art on the walls. She sat in a leather armchair, as if she were a queen on her throne. "Your references seem adequate," Patricia said, flipping through a folder. "Hard-working, punctual, no vices. I need to make a few things clear from the start." "Of course, Mrs. Patricia." "This is a serious household, where discretion and efficiency are valued. Your duties include general cleaning, laundry, and maintaining order. Nothing more." Valentina nodded. "Robert travels a lot for work. When he's not here, I manage the house. I expect total obedience to my instructions." "I understand. There is a child in the house, Isabella, Robert's daughter. She has special needs." "What kind of needs?" Patricia hesitated, as if choosing her words carefully. "Isabella uses crutches. She was born with a malformation in her right leg. She is a difficult child, stubborn, spoiled, used to getting attention." "How old is she?" 7. "And before you ask, you were not hired to take care of her. Isabella has a strict schedule for studying, meals, and rest. Your job is to clean the house, not to interfere with the child's upbringing." There was something in Patricia's tone that bothered Valentina, but she needed the job. "I understand perfectly. Your salary will be $2,500 a month, on the books. Sundays off. You'll work from Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. "I accept." "Excellent. You'll start tomorrow. One last thing, Valentina." Patricia leaned forward, her eyes fixed on Valentina's. "I value domestic harmony very much. Employees who meddle where they're not wanted, who ask unnecessary questions, or who create problems don't last long here." The threat was subtle, but clear. Valentina felt a shiver. "There will be no problems with me, Ms. Patricia. I hope not." The next morning, Valentina arrived at the mansion at 7 a.m. sharp. Patricia greeted her with a detailed list of tasks and a quick tour of the house. "Robert left for Chicago yesterday," Patricia explained. "He'll be gone for 3 days. You'll start by cleaning the ground floor." The house was even more impressive on the inside. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, fine wood furniture. Valentina calculated that the decor in the main living room alone cost more than she would earn in 10 years. "And the girl?" Valentina asked, as Patricia handed her the cleaning supplies. "Isabella is in her room. Don't worry about her. She doesn't eat breakfast." Patricia stopped and looked at Valentina with irritation. "Valentina, I was very clear yesterday. Isabella is not your responsibility. She has a strict schedule and only comes down when I allow it. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Start with the living room. I want everything spotless." Patricia left, leaving Valentina alone. She started her work, but she couldn't stop thinking about the child. It was almost 9 a.m., and there was no sign that the girl had eaten breakfast. Around 10 o'clock, while cleaning the marble staircase, Valentina heard a subtle noise coming from the upper floor. Small, careful steps, followed by the unmistakable sound of crutches tapping the floor. She looked up and saw at the top of the stairs a small, thin girl. Isabella had light brown hair that fell over her shoulders, large, sad eyes, and she held tightly to a pair of pink crutches. The child watched her with a mixture of curiosity and fear. "Hi," Valentina said softly, stopping her cleaning and smiling. "You must be Isabella." Isabella didn't answer, but she kept looking. "I'm Valentina. I'm going to be working here at the house." The girl took one step down, then another, with careful, practiced movements. "Your crutches are very pretty," Valentina commented. "Pink is my favorite color." For the first time, Isabella showed something that almost looked like a smile. "Have you had breakfast yet?" Valentina asked gently. Isabella shook her head no. "Are you hungry?" The girl nodded shyly. Valentina looked around, checking if Patricia was nearby. There was no sign of her. "How about we go to the kitchen? I can make something delicious for you." Isabella's eyes lit up, but she hesitated. "Patricia said I can't come down before 11, she murmured in a tiny voice. "Where is she now?" "She went out, to the salon." Valentina held out her hand. "Then let's be quick. It'll be our secret." Isabella looked at the outstretched hand as if it were the most precious thing in the world. Slowly, she held one of her crutches with one hand and gave the other to Valentina. Together, they descended the rest of the staircase. In the kitchen, Valentina found ingredients to make pancakes. While she prepared the batter, Isabella sat on a high stool, watching her every move with fascination. "Do you like pancakes?" Valentina asked. "I don't know. I've never had them." Valentina stopped mixing the batter and looked at the girl. "Never. But pancakes are one of the best things in the world. Patricia says I can only eat healthy food, no sweets or junk. Well, pancakes can be healthy. I'll make them with oats and banana. It's nutritious and delicious." As the pancakes cooked, Valentina talked with Isabella. She discovered that the girl liked to draw, that her favorite color was indeed pink, and that she had a stuffed kitten named Fluffy. "Where's your daddy?" Valentina asked. "Traveling. He travels a lot." "And do you miss him?" Isabella nodded sadly. "A lot. But when he comes back, Patricia says he's tired and I can't bother him." Valentina served the pancakes on a colorful plate with banana slices and a drizzle of honey. "Try it." Isabella took the first bite, and her eyes widened in surprise. "It's yummy!" she exclaimed, smiling for the first time. "That's great! Eat it all. It'll do you good." As Isabella ate, Valentina noticed the girl was too thin for a 7-year-old. There were dark circles under her eyes, and she ate with a hunger that indicated she wasn't being fed properly. Isabella, can I ask you something? You can. Do you always eat alone in your room? Patricia says it's better that way, that I make a mess at the big table. And what do you usually eat? Salad, soup, sometimes a small piece of chicken. Valentina felt a pang of anger, but controlled herself. And do you like those foods? Isabella made a face. Not really. But Patricia says a girl who uses crutches needs to eat little so she doesn't get fat. Valentina's anger grew. What kind of person said that to a 7-year-old child? Isabella, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, she said, kneeling in front of the girl. You are perfect just the way you are. Your crutches don't make you different from other children, and you need to eat well to grow up strong and healthy. Really? Really? And you know what? Your crutches are like magic wands. They help you go anywhere you want. Isabella laughed, a crystal-clear, genuine laugh. Magic wands. Exactly. And magicians always need to eat well to have energy for their magic. Just then, they heard the sound of a car arriving. Patricia's back, Isabella whispered, fear immediately returning to her eyes. Calm down, Valentina said quickly. Go up to your room. I'll clean up here. But what if she finds out? She won't. Go on. Quickly. Isabella left the kitchen as silently as possible. Valentina washed the dishes and put away the ingredients, erasing any evidence that they had made breakfast. Patricia came in through the back door a few minutes later. How's the work coming along? She asked, scanning the kitchen with an eagle eye. All good. I finished the living room and was just cleaning the kitchen. And Isabella? I haven't seen the girl. Patricia nodded, seemingly satisfied. Continue your work. I want the house impeccable. Noted, but as Valentina returned to her tasks, she couldn't stop thinking about Isabella. The girl was clearly being neglected, perhaps even mistreated. And for the first time in a long time, Valentina had seen a child smile because of something she had done. That night, returning to her apartment, Valentina couldn't get Isabella out of her head. There was something about that girl's sadness that had touched her heart in a way she hadn't expected. In the following days, whenever Patricia went out, Valentina found ways to spend time with Isabella. She started bringing nutritious and tasty snacks to the girl's room. I brought a cheese and jelly sandwich, she whispered, entering Isabella's room one morning when Patricia had gone shopping. The room was large but cold, decorated in impersonal pastel tones. It looked more like a hotel room than a child's space. Isabella was sitting on the bed, flipping through a picture book. "Valentina!" she exclaimed softly, her face lighting up. "And how are you, princess? Better now that you're here." While Isabella ate, Valentina noticed the girls' books. They were all educational. Math, science, geography. Not a single storybook or fun book. "Do you like these books?" Valentina asked. "They're the only ones I have. Patricia says storybooks are a waste of time." "What a shame. Stories are magical." "Do you know any stories?" Valentina smiled. "I know many. Want me to tell you one?" Isabella nodded enthusiastically. Valentina told the story of a brave princess who used magic wands, much like crutches, to save her kingdom from an evil dragon. Isabella listened to every word with shining eyes. "Was the princess like me?" she asked at the end. "Exactly like you. Brave, smart, and special. And she was happy, very happy, because she knew that being different made her unique and powerful." Over the following weeks, Valentina and Isabella developed a secret routine. Whenever Patricia was out, they would meet. Valentina taught her numbers in a fun way, using candies to count. She showed her colors through colorful drawings. She even started teaching her a few words in English. "Apple," Valentina would say, showing an apple. "Apple," Isabella would repeat, laughing. "And this?" "Cookie." "Very good." Isabella was blossoming. Her eyes shone brighter. She smiled frequently and had even started to gain a little weight. "Valentina," she said one day, "can I ask you a question?" "Of course, sweetie." "Can you be my mom?" The question hit Valentina like a lightning bolt. She felt tears well up in her eyes. "Why do you want that?" "Because you make me feel special and give me yummy food and tell me stories." And Isabella paused, searching for the words. "And you love me." "Of course I love you, princess." "Then you're already my mom in my heart." Valentina hugged Isabella, feeling a connection she had never experienced before. It was as if this girl had filled a void in her life she didn't even know existed. But it wasn't all roses. Patricia was starting to notice changes in Isabella. "The girl is different," she commented to Valentina one afternoon. "More lively." "Maybe it's because she's growing up," Valentina suggested casually. Patricia studied her with suspicious eyes. "You haven't been talking to her, have you?" "Have I? Just polite greetings when we see each other." "Keep it that way. Isabella doesn't need unnecessary stimulation." But Patricia was watchful, and Valentina knew she would have to be even more careful. Robert Montgomery arrived from his trip on a Friday afternoon. Valentina saw him for the first time as he walked through the front door, carrying a leather briefcase and talking on the phone. He was an imposing man of 42, with graying temples and an elegant posture. An Italian suit that surely cost a fortune, but there was something in his eyes, a deep sadness, a fatigue that went beyond physical exhaustion. Patricia ran to meet him. "Honey, I'm so glad you're here." Robert kissed her mechanically, still on the phone. "Yes, confirm the meeting for Monday. No, the report needs to be ready before that." He hung up and finally paid attention to Patricia. "Hi, how were things here?" Everything was perfect. "Oh, this is Valentina, the new employee." Robert glanced briefly at Valentina and nodded. "Good afternoon," she said. "Good afternoon. Where's Isabella?" "In her room, as always, studying." "Good. I'll go say hello to her." Patricia held him by the arm. "Robert, you just arrived. You're tired. How about a drink first?" "Patricia, I haven't seen my daughter in 3 weeks." "I know, honey, but Isabella has a sleep schedule. It's almost her bedtime." Robert hesitated. "Maybe you're right. I'll talk to her tomorrow." Valentina watched the scene with growing indignation. How could a father be so easily dissuaded from seeing his own daughter? Later, as she was putting away the cleaning supplies, Valentina heard Isabella crying softly upstairs. She went up quietly and knocked on the bedroom door. "Isabella, it's me, Valentina." The girl opened the door, her face wet with tears. "What's wrong, princess?" "My daddy's home. I heard his voice, but he didn't come to see me." Valentina's heart broke. "I'm sure he wants to see you. Maybe he's just tired from the trip." "He never has time for me. Patricia always says he's busy, that I can't bother him." "Isabella, your daddy loves you." Sometimes adults get so worried about work, they forget what's most important. "Do you think if I were a normal girl, without crutches, he would like me more?" The question was like a stab to Valentina's heart. "No, sweetie, your crutches have nothing to do with it. You are perfect, and any father would be lucky to have a daughter like you." "Then why doesn't he want to be with me?" Valentina didn't know how to answer, how to explain to a 7-year-old child the complexities of adult life, of guilt, of unresolved pain. Sometimes, when someone we love goes away forever, we get scared of loving other people because we don't want to feel that pain again, like your mommy. Your daddy loved your mommy very much, and when she passed, his heart was broken. But I was sad when mommy died too. I know, princess, and you didn't deserve to be left alone because of it. Valentina hugged Isabella, feeling the girl tremble with contained emotion. "Valentina?" "Yes?" "You're never going to leave, are you?" "I'll do everything I can to stay with you." It was a promise Valentina intended to keep, no matter the cost. On Saturday morning, Robert finally came down to have breakfast with Isabella. Valentina was cleaning the adjoining dining room and could observe the meeting between father and daughter. "Hi, Daddy," Isabella said shyly, sitting at the enormous table that seemed even bigger with just her there. "Hi, sweetie, how are you?" Robert sat down but kept a certain distance. "Good. I learned new things while you were away." "Really? What things?" "I learned numbers in English. 1, 2, 3, F, 5. Robert smiled for the first time. "Very good. Who taught you?" Isabella hesitated, glancing quickly to where Valentina was working. I learned by myself from the books." "What a smart girl you are." At that moment, Patricia entered the room wearing a silk robe and an annoyed expression. "Robert, you're down early today." "I wanted to have breakfast with Isabella." "Oh." Patricia forced a smile. "How lovely. But you don't have to worry about these things. I take care of everything related to Isabella." "Patricia, she's my daughter." "Of course, honey, but you work so much, you should use the weekends to rest." Robert looked at Isabella, who was watching him with hope in her eyes. "Maybe you're right." "Isabella, Daddy's going to work a little in the office, okay?" The disappointment on the girl's face was palpable. "Okay, Daddy." Robert left, and Patricia sat in his chair. "Isabella, finish that breakfast quickly. You have lessons to do." "But it's Saturday." "So what? Smart girls study every day." Isabella lowered her head and continued eating in silence. Valentina finished her cleaning and left the room, but she couldn't stop thinking about Isabella's sadness. How could such a small child carry so much loneliness? Later, while folding clothes in the laundry room, Valentina was surprised by Patricia. "Valentina, I need to talk to you." "Yes, Ms. Patricia?" "I've noticed that Isabella is different, more talkative, more lively. That's not good." "It depends on the reason." Patricia moved closer. "Are you sure you're not talking to her more than necessary?" Valentina chose her words carefully. "Just the basics, Ms. Patricia. Good morning, good afternoon. Because it would be very bad if I found out you were interfering in her upbringing." "Interfering how?" "Giving her food outside of her schedule, telling her silly stories, filling her head with fantasies." Valentina's heart raced. Did Patricia know? "And I wouldn't do that." "I hope not, because if I find out you're sabotaging my work with Isabella, you'll be fired on the spot and without references." "Your work?" "Isabella is a problematic child, spoiled, used to getting attention because of her disability. I'm trying to raise her to be independent and strong." "She's only 7 years old." "Exactly. It's the right age to learn discipline." Patricia smiled coldly. "Robert trusts me to take care of Isabella. If anyone tries to interfere with that—" The threat hung in the air. Valentina understood perfectly. "I understand, Ms. Patricia." "Good. Continue your work." Patricia left, leaving Valentina with a knot in her stomach. She knew she was treading on dangerous ground, but she couldn't abandon Isabella. In the following weeks, Patricia intensified her surveillance. She would appear unexpectedly during Valentina's work, ask seemingly casual questions about Isabella, and began to limit the girl's time outside her room even more. "Isabella can't come down before 10, she said one morning, "and she has to go up at 3 p.m. for her studies, but she barely has time to—" "She doesn't need more time for anything. A disciplined child is a happy child." Valentina saw Isabella becoming more and more withdrawn. The girl was losing weight again, and the dark circles under her eyes reappeared. One morning, when Patricia left for a doctor's appointment, Valentina couldn't resist. She went up to Isabella's room and found her lying on the bed, holding her stuffed kitten. "Hi, Princess." "Valentina." Isabella sat up but didn't show her usual excitement. "You can't be in here. Patricia said that if they see me talking to you, you'll be fired." "She said that." "She did. And that if I tell Daddy you give me food, she'll say you're poisoning me. Valentina felt a wave of rage. Isabella, look at me. I would never do anything to hurt you, and I'm not leaving if I can help it. But what if Patricia? Patricia is wrong, and one day your daddy will realize that. You promise? I promise. But Valentina didn't know that Patricia had installed a baby monitor in Isabella's room and had heard the entire conversation. The next afternoon, Patricia summoned Valentina for a meeting in the living room. Sit down, she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Valentina sat, sensing trouble. I discovered something interesting yesterday. What? That you're a liar. Valentina's blood ran cold. I don't understand. You don't? Then let me clarify. Patricia picked up a small electronic device. Listen to this. Valentina's voice came from the device. Patricia is wrong, and one day your daddy will realize that you recorded me. I installed a baby monitor in Isabella's room for security. Imagine my surprise when I discovered you've been manipulating my stepdaughter against me. I didn't manipulate anyone. I just tried to be kind to a child who needs affection. Kind, Patricia laughed. You filled her head with lies about me. Said that I'm evil, that Robert will leave me. I never said that. It's your word against the recording. Valentina realized the trap. The recording only showed part of the conversation, out of context. What do you want? I want you to disappear from Isabella's life completely. And if I don't? Then I will show this recording to Robert. I'll say you're trying to turn Isabella against me, that you're interfering with her psychological treatment. What psychological treatment? The one that starts next week. Isabella has been very rebellious lately. She clearly needs professional help. Valentina understood the plan. Patricia would use Isabella's rebelliousness as an excuse to isolate her even more. You're diabolical. I'm protective. Robert trusts me to take care of Isabella, and I won't let a housekeeper destroy that. Why? Why do you hate an innocent child so much? Patricia moved closer, her eyes glittering with rage. Because she is a constant reminder of Robert's first wife, because she steals the attention that should be mine, and because as long as she exists, I will never be the priority in his life. The truth was finally out. Patricia wasn't just a cruel stepmother. She was a woman consumed by jealousy of a child. So, what's your choice? Patricia continued. Stop meddling in Isabella's life, or lose your job and take the blame for harming a psychologically fragile girl. Valentina was cornered. I need to think. You have until tomorrow morning. That night, Valentina barely slept. She imagined ways to expose Patricia, but the woman had been clever. The recording, even edited, seemed damning, and who would believe the word of a housekeeper against that of a wealthy socialite? The next morning, she arrived at work determined to find a solution, but Patricia already had other plans in motion. Good morning, Valentina, she said with a venomous smile. Robert wants to speak with you in his office. Valentina's heart sank. About what? Oh, you'll see. Valentina knocked on the office door. Come in, Robert said. He was sitting behind a huge desk with a serious expression. Please sit. Valentina sat, trying to control her nerves. Patricia told me some concerning things about you and Isabella. What kind of things? That you have been giving her improper food, filling her head with fantasies, and worse, trying to turn her against Patricia. Mr. Robert, I can explain. There's a recording, Valentina. I heard you saying that Patricia is wrong and that I'll realize it. The recording is out of context. I was just... You were what? Manipulating a 7-year-old child? No, I was trying to help Isabella. She was sad. Why? Why? Valentina hesitated. How could she explain without sounding like she was attacking Patricia? Mr. Robert, your daughter needs more attention. She feels lonely, rejected. Isabella receives all the attention she needs. Patricia takes very good care of her. With all due respect, sir, when was the last time you spent an entire day with Isabella? Robert grew angry. My relationship with my daughter is none of your business. You were hired to clean the house, not to give parenting advice. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Valentina, I'll be clear. Patricia said that Isabella has been showing signs of problematic behavior since you arrived. She's starting therapy next week. Therapy? But she doesn't need. The psychologist will determine that. In the meantime, you will maintain total distance from Isabella. No conversations, no food, no contact. Mr. Robert, please, listen to me. The decision has been made. One transgression and you will be fired. Is that clear? Valentina felt tears burn in her eyes. It's clear. You may go. Valentina left the office devastated. In the hallway, she found Patricia waiting with a triumphant smile. How did the talk go? You know how it went. I hope you've learned your lesson. Isabella is my problem, not yours. Why are you doing this? What did a 7-year-old child ever do to deserve so much hate? She exists. The coldness of the reply shocked Valentina. One day, the truth will come out. What truth? That a housekeeper tried to manipulate a disabled child against the stepmother who takes care of her. Patricia laughed. Good luck proving that. In the weeks that followed, Valentina was forced to keep her distance from Isabella. Whenever they crossed paths, Valentina had to feign indifference while seeing the confusion and pain in the girl's eyes. Isabella would try to approach her, but Patricia always intervened. Isabella, let Valentina work. She doesn't have time for your nonsense. The girl became even more withdrawn. She stopped smiling, barely ate, and Valentina could hear her crying in her room at night. Worse still, Patricia began to implement harsher punishments. Isabella will stay in her room until she learns to behave, Valentina heard her say on the phone to someone. Yes, doctor. She's very rebellious, clearly traumatized by her mother's death. Valentina discovered that Patricia was lying to the psychologist, painting Isabella as a problematic and manipulative child. One afternoon, while cleaning near Isabella's room, Valentina heard the girl talking to herself. Why doesn't Valentina like me anymore, Fluffy? Did I do something wrong? Valentina's heart broke. Maybe it's because I use crutches. Everyone always leaves because of the crutches. Valentina couldn't take it. She knocked softly on the door. Isabella, can I come in? The door opened quickly. Valentina, you came to see me. Of course I did, Princess. I thought you didn't like me anymore. Listen carefully. I love you very much. Never stop believing that, okay? Then why don't we talk anymore? Because sometimes adults make silly rules, but that doesn't change how I feel about you. At that moment, footsteps approached in the hallway. Hide, Isabella whispered, pushing Valentina behind the curtain. Patricia entered the room. Who were you talking to? To Fluffy. Stop that nonsense. You're 7, not 3. Patricia left, and Valentina waited a few minutes before coming out of her hiding spot. Isabella, I have to go, but remember what I said. I love you always. I love you too, Mom, Valentina. The words hit Valentina hard. Isabella saw her as a mother, and she was being forced to abandon the girl. That night, Valentina made a decision. She needed to find evidence against Patricia, no matter the risk. Valentina started paying closer attention to Patricia's movements. She noticed strange phone calls, whispered conversations, and that certain drawers were always locked. One morning, when Patricia went out to the salon, Valentina decided to investigate her office. She found a partially open drawer and, inside, documents that left her shocked. There were searches for boarding schools for special needs children, quotes for permanent care, and most shockingly, emails exchanged with a lawyer about transferring guardianship. Patricia was planning to have Isabella institutionalized. In one of the emails, she wrote, "The child is becoming a greater and greater obstacle to my relationship with Robert. I need a permanent solution that appears to be for her own good." Valentina photographed everything with her phone, her hands shaking, but as she was leaving the office, she heard Patricia's car arriving. She ran to the laundry room and pretended to be working. "I'm back," Patricia announced. "How was the salon?" Valentina asked, trying to sound normal. "Great. Oh, I have news about Isabella." "What news?" "The psychologist has recommended more intensive treatment. She will go to a specialized center next week, a center for children with severe trauma. She'll stay there for a few months, until she stabilizes." Valentina knew it was a lie. Patricia intended to get rid of Isabella permanently. And did Mr. Robert agree? "Robert trusts my decisions about Isabella. He knows I only want what's best for her." That night, Valentina couldn't sleep. She had the evidence, but how to use it? If she showed it to Robert, Patricia could claim she had forged everything. She needed a confession, something undeniable. Valentina decided to record a conversation with Patricia. It was risky, but it was the only way to prove the truth. The next morning, she provoked Patricia with seemingly innocent comments. "Isabella seems sad about this move to the specialized center." "She'll get used to it," Patricia replied coldly. "It must be hard for Mr. Robert, too, being away from his daughter." Patricia stopped folding clothes and looked at Valentina. "Actually, it will be a relief." "What do you mean?" "Robert never wanted to admit it, but Isabella is a burden, a constant reminder of his late wife." Valentina discreetly activated her phone's recorder. But she's his daughter. She's a mistake from the past. Robert married that woman out of blind passion, not true love. And Isabella is like a ghost in this house, always reminding me that I'm not the first, but that will soon change." "How?" Patricia smiled cruelly. "The specialized center is actually a luxury orphanage. Isabella will stay there permanently. Robert will think it's temporary, but I will make sure it's never safe for her to return." That's terrible." "It's necessary. As long as Isabella is here, Robert will never be completely mine. There will always be a part of him trapped in the past. And what if he finds out the truth?" "How? Who's going to tell him?" "You," Patricia laughed. "A housekeeper against me. Good luck. And Isabella herself. Isabella is a traumatized child who makes up stories. No one believes children like that." Valentina had what she needed, a full confession. "Patricia, you're a monster. I'm a woman who fights for what she wants, something you would never understand." Valentina knew she had to act quickly. Patricia intended to take Isabella to the center on Monday. It was Friday. She tried to speak with Robert, but he was in meetings all day. Patricia had made sure to keep her husband busy. At night, when the house was quiet, Valentina went up to Isabella's room. "Princess, I need to talk to you about something important." "What?" "Mom." "Valentina, Patricia wants to take you to a place far away from here. She'll say it's to help you, but it's really to separate you from your daddy forever." Isabella's eyes filled with tears. "I knew it. She always said I was in the way." "Listen, my love. I need you to be very brave. Braver than any princess in the stories I've told you. What do I need to do? I need you to tell your daddy the whole truth, everything Patricia did, everything she said." "But what if he doesn't believe me?" "He will believe you, because you're going to be brave, and I'll be right by your side." On Saturday morning, Valentina woke up determined. It was now or never. Patricia had left early for a beauty appointment, and Robert was in his office working. She went up to Isabella's room and found her playing with Fluffy, her stuffed kitten. But there was something different about the girl, a sadness deeper than usual. "Princess, it's time. Your daddy is home, and we need to talk to him." "I'm scared," Isabella whispered, clutching the kitten to her chest. "I know, but remember the brave princesses from our stories. They always faced their fears to save the ones they loved." Isabella nodded, but her little hands trembled as she held her pink crutches. "Valentina," she said in a small voice, "what if Daddy doesn't believe me? What if he thinks I'm lying? Then we'll show him that you're not. But first, I need you to tell me everything, absolutely everything Patricia did to you." Isabella took a deep breath and began to speak. For the next 20 minutes, she told of the denied meals, the cruel comments about her crutches, the hours locked in her room as punishment, and worse, how Patricia said her father was ashamed of her. "She said you were only here because you felt sorry for me," Isabella whispered, "that when you found a better job, you would leave too." Valentina's heart broke. Patricia had been even crueler than she had imagined. "Princess, look into my eyes. I'm not here out of pity. I'm here because I love you, and your father loves you too. He's just forgotten how to show it." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. Now let's prove it to him." Together, they went down to the office. Valentina knocked on the door with determination. "Mr. Robert, Isabella needs to speak with you. It's very important." Robert looked up from his documents, surprised to see his daughter there with Valentina. For the first time, he truly looked at Isabella and saw what he had been missing for so long, a small, fragile girl, but with eyes full of intelligence and unrequited love. "Valentina, I told you that." "Please," she interrupted. "Listen to your daughter. Just listen and really see her." Isabella approached her father's desk, each step with her crutches echoing in the tense silence of the office. "Daddy," she began in a trembling voice, "Valentina said you love me, but I need to know. Is it true?" The question hit Robert like a punch to the gut. "Of course I love you, Isabella. Why would you ask that?" "Because Patricia said you're ashamed of me, that I remind you of Mommy, and it makes you sad, that you'd rather I had never been born." The words came out in a desperate torrent, as if Isabella were finally releasing years of repressed pain. Robert turned pale, standing up abruptly from his chair. "She said that to you." "She did, and much more." Isabella started to cry. "She called me a cripple. She said no man would want to marry you because of me, that I was a burden you carried out of obligation. My God!" Robert ran his hands through his hair, pacing back and forth. "Isabella, none of that is true. None of it. Then why do you never stay with me? Why do you never play with me? Why, when you came home from a trip, did you go straight to work instead of seeing me?" The questions were simple but devastating. Robert realized how his actions had been interpreted by a child starved for love. Because I'm a coward," he admitted, kneeling before his daughter. "Because every time I look at you, I'm reminded of your mother, and it hurts so much that I'd rather run away than feel it." "But I miss Mommy too," Isabella said softly. "And when I'm alone, it hurts even more." Robert hugged his daughter for the first time in years, a true, desperate hug, full of regret. "Forgive me, my daughter. Forgive me for being such a bad father." "You're not bad, Daddy. You were sad, but now we can be sad together." At that moment, Valentina played the recording. As Patricia's cruel words echoed in the office, Robert began to understand the extent of the manipulation and abuse. "Robert, I can explain," said Patricia when she arrived and found the family gathered. "Explain what?" he roared, a controlled fury taking over his voice. "How you psychologically tortured a 7-year-old child. I was just trying to discipline her, to prepare her for the real world. By lying to her about her own father's feelings, by making her believe she's a burden. She is a burden. A constant reminder that you loved another woman before me. The truth was finally out, raw and cruel. Get out of my house, now. Robert, you can't. After Patricia's dramatic exit, the house fell silent. Robert, Valentina, and Isabella remained in the office, processing what had happened. "Daddy," Isabella said softly, "are you going to regret this later? Patricia said you always go back on your important decisions." Robert looked at his daughter in horror. How many seeds of insecurity had Patricia planted in that childish mind? "Isabella, listen to me carefully. Some decisions in life are irreversible, and kicking out the person who was hurting you is one of them." "Really? Really? And you know what else is irreversible?" Isabella shook her head. "My decision to be a real father to you, every single day, from now on." Valentina watched the father and daughter with tears in her eyes. It was the beginning of a healing that would take time, but had finally begun. "Sir," she said gently, "perhaps it would be good to seek professional help for you both to process all of this." "Family therapy?" "Yes, and maybe individual therapy for Isabella too. She has been through traumas that need to be properly addressed." Robert nodded. "You're right. But Valentina?" "Yes, I want you to be part of this therapy too." "What do you mean?" "You saved my daughter. In fact, you saved us both. And in these last few weeks, I've realized that Isabella sees you as a mother." Isabella's face lit up. "It's true. Valentina is my mother in my heart." "So," Robert continued, "I would like to make that official adoption so that you can legally be Isabella's mother." Valentina was speechless. "Robert, that's very serious. It's the most serious thing in my life. Isabella needs a mother, a real mother. And you already are that for her." "Mom, Valentina, please," Isabella pleaded, holding Valentina's hand tightly. "But what if you change your minds?" "We won't," Robert said firmly. "And to prove it, I want to make an even more serious proposal." "What proposal?" "I want you to move in here permanently as a family." A week later, Valentina had brought her few possessions from the apartment in the Bronx. Robert had insisted she choose a room in the main suite, not as an employee, but as a co-head of the house, and for Isabella. "It's strange," she said to Robert one morning, as they had breakfast together, something that had become a routine. "What's strange?" "A week ago I was your employee. Now, what are we exactly?" Robert laughed, a sound that hadn't echoed in that house for years. "We're an unconventional family. It's not a romance, not a traditional marriage. It's a partnership in the love for a very special girl. And you're okay with that?" "I'm more than okay. I'm grateful. For the first time in years, I wake up happy." Just then, Isabella appeared in the kitchen wearing pink pajamas and dragging Fluffy. "Good morning, family," she said cheerfully. "Good morning, Princess," Robert and Valentina said together, smiling. The first family therapy session had been revealing. Dr. Matthews, the psychologist, had explained that it would take time to undo years of emotional damage. "Isabella has developed very sophisticated defense mechanisms for a 7-year-old, he had said. "She learned to minimize her needs so as not to be a bother. That doesn't heal overnight." "What can we do?" Robert had asked. "Consistency, unconditional love, and patience. A lot of patience. Not everything was easy. Isabella, used to suppressing her emotions, had episodes of intense tantrums, as if testing the limits of the new love she was receiving. "I don't want dinner. I don't want to take a bath. I don't want to do anything," she yelled one night, throwing herself on the living room floor. Robert was desperate. "What do we do? She's never done this before." "It's normal," Valentina said calmly. "Dr. Matthews said this would happen. She's testing whether our love is conditional or not. And how do we react? With firm love, we make it clear that we love her, but that there are rules. Valentina approached Isabella, who was crying on the floor. Princess, I understand you're angry, but you need to eat dinner to be strong. And if I don't eat, are you going to send me away like Patricia wanted to? The question revealed the core of the problem. No, sweetie. Even if you never eat dinner again, we will still love you and take care of you, but we will be worried about your health. Even if I'm really annoying. Even if you're the most annoying girl in the world, Robert said, joining them on the floor. A parent's love never ends. Isabella stopped crying. Never, ever. Never, ever, they both confirmed. 3 months after Patricia's departure, the house had completely transformed. Robert had drastically reduced his travel, working more from his home office to be present. Daddy, Isabella said one afternoon, can I help you with your work? How so, Princess? I can organize your papers or draw in the margins. Robert laughed. You can, but only on the pages I say are okay. Deal. Isabella spent the entire afternoon in the office with her father, drawing colorful flowers on scrap paper while he worked. It was a simple, domestic scene, but it represented a revolution in the family dynamic. Valentina, Robert said that night, as they were having tea on the porch, there's something I need to tell you. What is it? I never properly thanked you for what you did. Robert, let me finish. You didn't just save Isabella, you taught me how to be a father. You showed me that love isn't about giving expensive things, it's about being present. You're a fast learner, Valentina smiled. I'm having a good teacher. 6 months after Patricia was kicked out, Valentina's adoption of Isabella was finalized. The ceremony was simple, held at the courthouse, but it had a profound meaning for everyone involved. Isabella Montgomery Smith, the judge said, you now officially have 2 families that have joined into one. What do you mean? Isabella asked, curious. You are the daughter of Daddy Robert and Mommy Valentina, legally, officially, forever. Isabella's eyes filled with tears of joy. So now no one can ever take me away from you. Never again, Robert and Valentina confirmed together. That night, there was a small party at home. Robert had hired a caterer and decorated the living room with pink balloons, Isabella's favorite color. Make a toast, he said, raising a glass of sparkling cider. To the most unlikely, most challenging, and most perfect family in the world. To family, replied Valentina and Isabella. A year after the adoption, the family's routine had settled into something none of them had imagined possible. Robert woke up at 6:30 a.m. to have breakfast with the family before Isabella went to school. Valentina had enrolled in college for a degree in education, an old dream she could finally pursue. Mom, Isabella said one morning, packing her backpack, today I'm going to present my family at school. That's great. What are you going to say about us? I'm going to say that I have the hardest working dad in the world and the bravest mum, and that a real family is the people you choose to love every day. Where did you learn that? From you, Isabella smiled. The mansion in Beverly Hills was unrecognizable. Where there was once coldness and silence, there was now life pulsating in every corner. Isabella, now 12, had become a confident and outgoing girl. Her pink crutches had given way to a more modern pair, which she decorated with colorful stickers. Mom, Dad, she yelled, coming home from school, I have incredible news. What is it? Asked Valentina, who was in the kitchen preparing a snack. I was chosen to represent the school in a public speaking competition. That's wonderful. What are you going to talk about? Asked Robert, who was working at the kitchen table, his new office. About overcoming adversity, about how families can form in unexpected ways, about how crutches can be wings when you have people who believe in you. Valentina smiled. drying her hands on her apron. "And what specifically are you going to talk about?" "About our family's story. How a housekeeper, a lost businessman, and a girl with crutches became the happiest family in the world." Robert came over and hugged the two women in his life. "You know something," he said. "And what?" mother and daughter asked together. "5 years ago, I thought success was having money and power. Today I know that success is coming home and being greeted with hugs and laughter." "And I," said Valentina, "thought I would never be a mother. Today I know I became a mother in the most beautiful way possible, by choosing to love a child who needed me." "And I," Isabella added, "learned that a family doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real." That night, as they had done every night for 5 years, the three of them sat on the porch to watch the stars. It was their sacred ritual, a moment to be grateful for the day that had passed and to dream of what was to come. "Daddy," Isabella said, snuggling between her parents, "do you know which is my favorite star?" "Which one?" "That one right there." She pointed to a particularly bright star. "I think it's Mommy Patricia, my first mom, watching over us." "Why do you think that?" asked Valentina. "Because she must be happy, knowing that I found a family that truly loves me and that Daddy learned to smile again." Robert felt tears well up in his eyes. "You know what, Princess? I think you're right. There, on that porch, under a starry sky, an unlikely family silently celebrated the greatest triumph of their lives, having discovered that true love always finds a way, even when all seems lost." Isabella's pink crutches were leaning against the wall, but they were no longer symbols of limitation. They were reminders that the greatest strength in the world is the human capacity to turn hardship into bridges to happiness. And as the stars shone above them, 3 hearts beat in unison, knowing they had found what truly matters. A family built not by blood or convenience, but by the daily choice to love, protect, and be present for one another. This expanded story reminds us that the happiest endings are not those without difficulties, but those where love triumphs over all adversity. The journey of Isabella, Robertish, and Valentina proves that family is who we choose to love every day, and that sometimes the most precious gifts come disguised as challenges that transform us into better people. If this story touched your heart, subscribe, leave your like, and share it with those who need to hear this message of protection and vigilance for our most vulnerable children. Your comment is also very important, so that we can continue to bring stories that remind us of the importance of carefully checking the credentials of those who supposedly care for our dearest loved ones. Until the next story that inspires us to defend justice and human dignity.